We did start with our first taste talk in March, believe it or not, at the end of March. And we will have more taste talks coming in 2021. I don't have a schedule set up as of yet, but things will be coming. So we're going to take a little break at the beginning of the year. But today, again, very excited to have Sruthi finishing out the year with a dish that is perfect for right now. So this is a veggie frittata that she's going to be doing. So it's perfect for holiday brunch, you know, something nice, very different from what you might be having for your Christmas meal or any of your other holiday meals, or perfect for January 1st, waking up a little bit late and want to have something delicious to eat. So, Sruthi, we are so excited to hear about the veggie frittata. And I know you're excited to make it because you're going to have it for dinner now, right?
I'm going to have it for dinner. I'm not going to make another meal. This is dinner. I planned it out. So a little bit of background. I was telling Christine before we got on that one of the reasons I love making frittata is because it's one of those like dump and go recipes. And what I mean by that is you can take whatever's in your fridge that's maybe stuck in the back of the fridge and like the vegetable drawer and the cheese drawer, little like tiny bits of things left at the bottom of bowls that you're like, if I let this go for another couple days, it's not going to be great. So it's something you can just pull together with whatever you have. And that's my general philosophy of cooking, but I feel like it especially is true with this frittata, where you can, I'm going to show you a set of veggies today. So I'm going to use mushrooms, spinach, onions, some herbs, one of which I thought I was going to use it fresh, but then my plant dried up. So it's going to be dried rosemary instead. Like, what are you going to do? But again, you can do whatever, you can really use whatever veggies you want. So I also, when I started making these frittatas, I was wondering what the difference was between a frittata and a quiche. And I think the biggest difference is that a quiche has a crust, I believe, and that the ratio of eggs to cheese is lower. Is there more cheese in a quiche? Am I saying that right? I've never made a quiche. I've just been calling this a frittata.
I think it depends on the type of quiche that you would be making. So yeah, certain quiches would have more cheese and others might not, because you can definitely make a quiche without the cheese as well.
Okay, well, this is definitely a frittata, and it works out because I have like exactly 8 eggs I need to use up. So that's how many eggs are going to go in this frittata, and we're going to say it's going to serve 4. All right, so let's get started. I'm going to show you all my ingredients first. So I'll just point you down, or I'll just bring this up actually. Okay, so we have onion. This is about 1 large or about 1.5-ish medium onions diced. I don't have exceptional knife skills to get them this perfect. I have a chopper, which is maybe the best $20 I have ever spent. On myself. And then I have some cheese. This is about 1.5 to 2 cups of shredded. This is a 4-cheese Mexican blend. But again, you can use whatever cheese you have. I had some Gruyere before. I've added that. Parmesan works great in this. What else is good? Gouda is good. I have a couple slices of Gouda, but I'm going to put that in a sandwich. I'm going to have exercise self-control.
Really rationalizing out exactly where the cheese needs to go in the house.
Yes. And then another thing I'm going to use is I'm going to use a bunch of frozen spinach just because I had it in the freezer. This is about 1.5 cups of frozen spinach. And then this is probably my favorite, which I didn't even know I had until yesterday when I was figuring out what veggies I was going to put in my frittata, is I have a bunch of mixed wild mushrooms from Trader Joe's. So they come in a package, and I believe they're already sauteed in olive oil, salt, and parsley. But all I did was take them out of the freezer and just thaw them a little bit, just so the cooking would go a little faster. What else do I have? Oh, I have some dried oregano from my oregano plant and some dried rosemary from my rosemary plant. I was going to be like, add fresh rosemary at the end.
You just pruned your plants to kind of help with your herb situation.
I mean, they've been watered. I don't know what's going on with them. And then another surprise ingredient for myself today is a little bit of ricotta, because again, I found a tub of ricotta and this is all that was left. So it's going in the frittata today. So we're gonna start, oh, and then for seasonings, it's gonna be a pretty simple seasoning because the herbs I find, especially the oregano and the rosemary, have a pretty strong flavor, like not in a negative way, but you guys there?
Well, we're here. We're fine.
Guys. Well, the rosemary and the oregano, they just impart enough of a flavor to the frittata where you don't need a ton of, like, I'm the master of just adding like cumin and coriander and garam masala and everything to a lot of dishes, but you do not need it. And so I'm trying to exercise some restraint again. So all I'm going to add to this is some salt, pepper, garlic powder, and a little bit of red pepper flakes. That's it for the seasoning. So we're going to start, actually, why don't we start by turning on this pot, and I'll just face you here. We're going to put a little, can you guys see that okay?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. I'm going to put a little bit of oil. This is canola oil. You can also use vegetable oil. If you want a little extra olive oil flavor, you could add olive oil too. I'd say that's about a tablespoon to 2 tablespoons of oil. You're going to let that warm up a little bit. And then the first thing that's going to go in there once it warms up is the onions. So before I even before I even started cooking like at all really, one of the things I knew even before was never add stuff to a cold pan. So as bad as my cooking was like 15 years ago when I was in like finishing college or whatever, I never start anything on a cold pan. So that's, I guess, one good habit that's stuck with me. So while that's heating up a little bit, I'm gonna start cracking some eggs. I don't know if you guys need to see me cracking the eggs, but you can. You can let me know how my form is. Okay. Really sorry. Technical difficulties today. All right. I'm just going to crack them. So if you guys have any questions in the meantime, you can just ask me because I'm not going to try dropping this again.
No, absolutely. So Sruthi, when you have frittata.
Oh, sorry, I can't hear you.
Oh, Heidi, do you have a question?
No, I just wanted to say you're doing great. No worries. Don't worry.
Oh, thank you. I'm like getting nervous I was playing around with this this little snake holder thing, and all right. Here, and turn that down a little bit, and this has started. So first, actually, I'm gonna go ahead and add some of the onions in here. How many does this serve? This is for 4 people.
Mm-hmm.
4 people.
And then, Sruthi, when you make this, do you like to serve anything else alongside it?
And I've found like I've made this for brunch, but like Christine was saying earlier, I make stuff like this for dinner all the time. And just add in, because it just makes it so easy to just grab some eggs out of the fridge and do that. Okay, let's have some onion. I'm going to put a little bit of salt to draw some of the water out of the onion.
So Sruthi, when you make this, when you make a frittata, do you serve anything else with it? You having trouble?
What was that, Christine?
When you serve a frittata, do you like to serve anything else with it?
I usually, when I have this, it's pretty filling, but I do like to serve it with some hot sauce on the side. Mm-hmm. I'll have toast sometimes. That's always like buttered toast. And other than that, because this one is so heavy, I like to have it with some fruit or something that's just not as heavy. For some reason, the volume just went down. Okay. All right. So I'm just going to finish cracking these eggs. Oh, thank you. Yeah, when we moved in, we did some renovations, like specifically to the kitchen, and yeah, we tried to I was like, all right, can I have this island and this island? But then I didn't really know. My husband does a lot of the. He's not in interior design, but he just has that kind of an eye for places. So he showed me a few options, and I was like, okay, thanks, because I didn't really know what kind of stone is in counters and things like that. Okay, so I'm just cracking these eggs while these onions sweat it out a little bit. I'm kind of sad we won't be doing like big Christmas things and stuff this year because I feel like it'd be, you know, we have our Christmas tree up and it's all like the perfect kind of mood and then we want to see family and can't. But yeah, it should be hopefully soon. Things are looking somewhat up.
There's nothing wrong with having an intimate Christmas though, too. So it's kind of nice to be with the people that, you know, are right under your roof.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Christine, for some reason, I'm having a lot of trouble hearing you.
Oh
I wonder if everyone else
no. Can you all hear me okay? You guys are good.
can. Okay. Okay.
Sruthi, can you hear me?
Yeah, I think she's having some issues with her sound today.
All right, Christine, what about now? Can you say something?
Yeah, is that better?
Man, it's really low. I
Hmm.
don't know what's going on. Okay, well, I apologize if I like interrupt you while you're talking.
No problem. We'll keep going.
Okay. All right, so we have some onions. The next thing I'm going to add in here is is the mushrooms. So I'm going to put the mushrooms in. They are a little bit watery just because they came out from the freezer. But this is so convenient. I mean, usually I try to like buy produce fresh and things like that, but something like this makes it so easy and gives you less of an excuse for not cooking, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And this already has all the mushrooms mixed in, so I'm not going out and trying to find kind of different varieties. I'm gonna turn up the heat a little bit. This already smells really good. And I'm gonna start adding in some of my spices, only because the spinach doesn't need too long. So I'm gonna add in some garlic powder, and I think, Christine, you have the exact amounts that I set to you.
Yeah.
Okay, some garlic powder, some pepper, Alexa, stop. And then I'm going to stir this up first. Then, oh, how about minced garlic? Yeah, that's a great idea. I would have added fresh garlic to this. I just didn't have any, which is why I went with the garlic powder. But usually when a recipe calls for like 3 cloves of garlic, I'm adding 6. So yeah, I'm with you, Roy. Okay, then some spinach. Mix that in. Again, this already smells good. If you wanted to make just kind of a vegetable side and not put this into a frittata, you could do that at this stage. So if you want to put in any chicken, like I have some grilled chicken strips also from Trader Joe's that are just like ready. And if I wanted, I could put that in here, serve it with rice. I would honestly even put something like this in tacos. Is there a question?
Yeah, is there another green veggie that you could substitute in?
Another green veggie. Yeah, actually last time, one of my favorite ways to make this is with peas. So I've made a version that has mushrooms and peas. I've made another version that had corn and peas. I've even sometimes added a little bit of potato that I've parboiled and then parboiled or roasted and then put in so you get that little bit of a crunch in there afterwards. All right, and then we're almost done with this part. We're just gonna add in the dried oregano as well as the dried rosemary. And give it another stir. And this is when you really start smelling the herbs and you realize why you did not need a bunch of additional seasonings. Okay. In the meantime, I'm just gonna cover this for a couple of minutes, lower the heat, and take something out that I put in earlier. We'll put this on the side. Show that to you later. And then I'm just gonna beat these eggs that I have along with this cheese and then also the ricotta. So let's do that. Okay. You guys see that?
Yes, red pepper would be really great in this too. There's
I
so
look at the eggs and I'm like, this doesn't seem like that many. Then you add in the cheese and it's more than enough. So, okay.
yeah, there's definitely a lot of different vegetables you could use in this. So
What was that?
there's a lot of different vegetables that you could use in this. It's kind of like, what's your favorite things? What do you have in the fridge? What's looking good at the store? All those things can kind of dictate what you might use.
Here, it looks like this now. It already kind of tripled in size. So one way I've made this before, I'd like to think, because I was just over eager when I first got my Vitamix from my sister-in-law. I was like, man, what could I make with a Vitamix? And one of the things that came in the little recipe binder was that you could make frittatas. And it was like, look how easy it is. You could dump everything in the Vitamix. So I actually put cheese, eggs, herbs, everything that I wanted kind of really blended in, and spices in the Vitamix, gave it like a couple of pulses, and it was ready to go. So, okay. The last thing I'm going to add in there is this little bit of ricotta. Again, totally optional, and use what you have. Okay, just mixing that in. And then I'm going to turn this off, and we're at the last step of actually filling your pan for it. So what I have here is it's about like a 9-inch, like a pie pan kind of thing. I've used the aluminum ones before too. I just couldn't find mine today, but you just use something like this. And what I like to do is, I like to add the veggies in first into the pan. So at the bottom, and then I'll mix them up. Actually, I should add a little bit of red pepper flakes here. And again, this is to taste. So if you don't want it too spicy, you don't have to add them. I've also added like jalapenos in here before. I've added red chilies. Okay, and you don't need this to cook all the way again, because you are gonna put it into the oven for a little bit. All right, so I'm gonna turn this off, and then I'm going to put some of this into this. So you can see that. Move this over so you can see. Okay. I'm just going to scoop this veggie mixture into the bottom. That smells very good. And you can see there's a lot of onion. Again, I've just used the things I enjoy the most too. So you don't want as many mushrooms, you can add half the pack. I know when I've known people that just don't like onion or garlic, which I couldn't relate to.
Yeah, I don't understand that. But
I couldn't relate to, but yeah. So this looks like, so this will be a really kind of hearty veggie filled frittata, but also remember we're using 8 eggs. So and it's a good way to get your veggies in if you don't usually like just eating veggies on the side of things. You just put it in a frittata. Okay. All right, you guys see that?
yeah.
Okay. And the last thing we're gonna do is pour this egg mixture all over it. See, I have little bits of spinach and stuff in there. That's okay. So I'm just gonna pour this And it looks like it's fitting just right. It is going to rise a little bit in the oven, but I found out with the eggs, it sets before it's going to before it's going to overflow in this size pan. Okay, and you have a couple options here. So you can either put this in just like this, and it's really about the aesthetics of how you want it to look when you take it out. So I've done it both ways, where you do it like this and you know there's a pretty dense layer of veggies at the bottom. And so the egg sometimes doesn't have a chance to kind of penetrate all the nooks and crannies by the time it sets in the 350 oven, which is what I preheat my oven to. Or you could also kind of swirl it around and get a little bit of a mix of the veggies throughout, so that in every bite versus just the top, because what we're going to do is when it's done, I'm going to take it out, let it cool a little bit, and then flip it over. So on the top is where you'll see all the veggies. So this time I'm going to actually swirl it through so the egg kind of gets in all the nooks and crannies, and you'll see as I do it, just to kind of let some of it go to the bottom. It's kind of like making scrambled eggs a little bit, where you like move it and you want the egg to fill the spot. It's in. And this way it looks nice as you're putting it in too, and not just when you take it out. Just flip it over. Okay, one last swirl. And then we already salted the veggies before, but I'm gonna add a little more salt to this now. So you can see that, you can see all the veggies kind of at the top there. I'm just gonna salt, oh, oops, this is better. One last swirl. And it's nice because the mushrooms that are in here are all different, slightly different sizes too. And because they're different kinds of mushrooms, they have a different, not just taste, but also a different texture as you bite into them. Usually I worry about things that are all different size, because then I'm like, are they gonna cook the same way? But with mushrooms, it doesn't seem to be, at least in this, as much of an issue. Okay. So there it is. I'm just going to put this in a 350 preheated oven for about 30 minutes. Eggs are one of those things that, I'm going to take this off now. Eggs are one of those things that continue cooking a little bit after you turn off the heat. And so I don't want to overdo it. So what I am going to show you though is a completed version that I put in earlier. I'm going to show this to you. Grab this. So before this class started, I actually did a mini version of this frittata. So here's another idea if you have kids that like things in small sizes. Like my son's allergic to eggs, otherwise I'd give him this. And it just looks like that. Do you need less time for half the amount? Actually, I put this in for about 20 minutes and it seems like it's just right. So when you're going to eat it, you can either just scoop it out with a spoon and eat it from the actual ramekin, like I put here. And this is the same thing. I mean, if you wanted to, obviously you wouldn't be making like putting one in and taking one out, putting the next one in. But if you wanted to kind of do this, you can use little muffin tins that have like 12 or 9 pan muffin tins and use those and just pour the same mixture into that, which makes it, you know, like I think for presentation, it also has a nice look. So you can just place that on the plate. And Christine, you were asking earlier, like, oh, do you eat other things with that? It's just a way to kind of fill out the plate with different looking things. So let's see if this guy, all right, this guy's not going to come out. So it looks like I'm going to eat it like this now. But if you wanted, what you could do is kind of peel around the outside, flip it over, take it out, and then it'll just look like a little cup or a little muffin. So that's the frittata. The other one's going to take about 30 minutes in there, but I'm happy to, once that one is done, take a picture and send it to you guys so you see how the version that you actually watched me make turns out.
Please send me that picture, because I will be sending out an email to everyone on the Taste Talks list tomorrow, just to kind of sum up what some of the things we've done with the Taste Talks in 2020, or to let people know when this one's up on YouTube and everything, and ask people for more topics for 2021. So that would be great. But I love the idea of doing it in the individual cups. I really like that a lot, because especially some people are very, you know, like I said, some people don't like onions, some don't like garlic, some people are fussy about spinach and things like that. So you could even do this, and if you have pickier eaters, you can kind of make ones that would go to everyone's palate, and make sure
Yeah,
everyone could have a kind of build your own veggie situation happening.
exactly.
Individual frittata.
Yeah, just like you do for tacos, you can kind of pick your ingredients, put them in a ramekin, and then just pour an egg with cheese over it to customize. So
Cool.
yeah, thank you guys for coming.
Yeah, does anyone have any questions before we wrap it up today? Yeah, Asaf, I sent a recipe out already on today's email. So if you haven't checked your email on the email list, double check it. The recipe for the frittata from today and from her last talk with the kulfi, that those are both on that email. Just make sure you scroll down so you can see. All right.
All right, thanks everyone.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. Everyone have a happy holidays. Have a happy new year. More will be coming in January, so keep your eyes open on your email. And everyone, I'm excited to say goodbye to 2020, and I'm sure you are too. I'm very excited for new things to come for all of us in 2021.
Yeah.
So,
All right, thanks everyone.
thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.